gone crazy, and needs to be locked up because Omid shakes hands with Bahar's father, then with a seamstress, and then he says, "I've enjoyed meeting you, and I'd like to come back if it's all right and meet the young lady next."
So I should say that was obviously the first time that he, for reasons that become clear throughout the story, Omid decides that he wants to pursue this girl. And for him, she's a good target because she's an easy target, and that's why he goes after her. His parents obviously are very unhappy about this. They feel, this family is way beneath them. So that's the scene of the first time that the family goes over to meet. And I think the next scene that Bahar is going to read is right after that scene of courtship when Omid has showed interest in her.
He returns to Cyrus Street alone. He sits across from Bahar in her parents' good room, crosses his legs, lights an American cigarette. He tells her he has 3 questions. What is your favorite word? She's wearing a dress her mother had finished that morning. It's too large at the hips, pulls around the armholes, but she wears it as if it was the most glamorous movie star gown. She's beaming with delight, thrilled to be alone with Omid. She doesn't take a second to think about the question before she answers. "Baran," she says proudly, like an eager student on the first day of class. "Rain." He takes some time to process what she has said. He had expected a word like duty, honor, loyalty, the kind of word he thinks a girl of her age and station would have on her mind, that she should have learned from her mother and set as guidelines for herself. Obedience, subservience, forbearance. He drags on a cigarette and blows out the smoke, thinks this one may have a cloud or 2 in her eyes. She must think she's a poet. But then again, she won't be hard to train. He can tell that Bahar's parents have made improvements to the room since their last visit. The walls have been whitewashed by a coat of paint so fresh it smells of wetness. The furniture has been rearranged, covered with pieces of red velvet from the upholstery, which was torn. The floor is covered with a better rug, probably borrowed, than what was there the first time, and someone has put a bunch of purple flowers on the windowsill. He looks away from the flowers and smiles indulgently at Bahar. Clouds, maybe, he thinks, but also great innocence. What is your favorite thing to do? Again, she doesn't hesitate. To leave home in the morning. Oh, now he's genuinely disturbed. He shifts in his chair and rests his cigarette on the edge of the ashtray, tells himself he may indeed be making a mistake, that he may have misjudged this girl. He imagined her to be the kind of wife who would be happiest at home, cooking and raising children and agonizing over what choice of fabric for the drapery. He can't see why she would want to run out of the house in the morning, and where would she go? He doesn't know anything about Bahar's siblings, doesn't want to find out. It's clear to him that she will stop seeing them once he marries her. It's simple enough, really. Why complicate matters by actually meeting people you won't have a thing to do with? He has one last question. What is your favorite color? Omid has come back with gifts for Bahar. Close your eyes, he tells her, and unfolds a white lace so heavy it sighs as it rolls off his arm on the chair. Close your eyes again, he tells her, and drapes pink taffeta over her lace. He watches as she runs her fingers across the fabric and brings it to her face and rests it there for a second against her cheek. He thinks then it's always going to be so easy to give Bahar so much happiness with so little effort, to spread it like a veil over the imperfections of her life, to hide her inadequacies and his inability to love. He tells her he had a tough time finding this third fabric. He has sent his driver, Hassan Agha, into every store on Ferdowsi Avenue more than once, and in the end, he had to order the fabric from abroad. What is your favorite color? He had asked the last time they met, and she answered, Caspian green. Green, the color of emeralds, of forests leading to the Caspian, of the sea at high noon. She had never been outside Tehran, doesn't know what the sea looks like except from pictures. She has no idea what it's like to breathe the salty air, to sleep in sheets weighed down by humidity and wake up with the sand in her hair. But she has read about the Caspian in many books, and she can imagine it well enough. She knows just what color the mountains will be, how the water will be like glass, silver in the sunlight, reflecting the gold of rice shoots in the fields along the shore. You're never the same, she had told Omid, once you'd seen the green of the Caspian. Close your eyes one last time.
Okay. After this, he proposes, and now it's the family has to get an answer, sort of promise her in marriage or not.
Before he promises her to the Arbabs, Bahar's father sits her down for a talk. He tells her she'd better think this over real good, because there will be no going back from here on. I give them my word, and you'll be his forever, even if he changes his mind the next day, even if he never gives you a ring or doesn't marry you, or may God make me mute for saying this, if he decides to divorce you and send you home. I want you to understand this and think about it before you jump feet first into the fire, girl. You and I are not his kind of people. We don't have the same rights, can't take the same liberties. And here, child, is the rub that you won't want to comprehend with that no good head of yours. This marriage is not going to take place. This man is too good for us. He'll never marry you. I don't know what Omid's game is, but it doesn't matter. Because the minute I go to them and say, yes, she's yours, she'll kiss your hands, be your servant, and earn the privilege of being your wife, the minute I say that, you'll be marked as his, spoiled and tarnished beyond repair. And even if he did give you a ring and a promise, and even if he were stupid enough to choose you, he'll spend his life regretting it. And you'd never be what he wants. Never measure up. She laughs at him with that childish abandon that has always made her parents' heart quiver with anxiety. She's been reckless and unrealistic all her life, but now she's also blinded by joy, giddy with the prospect of escaping her destiny once and for all. Listen to me, girl. I am drawing the line in the sand for you. This is the point of no return. You can go ahead and promise yourself to him. But if you do, there's no coming home tomorrow or ever. You leave my house in a wedding gown, and the only way I'll ever let you back in is in a kaftan shroud. Dead, that is, because we could never live down the shame and infamy of divorce, and you won't have any place to go either. A divorced woman has no rights, no family, not a penny to live on. What then? But even as he says this, the father knows that Bahar is doomed. She's going to say yes, and he's not going to stop her. I mean, how could he? Who in his place would be able to walk away from such a deal, to turn his back on the chance, granted it's 1 in 100 million, that his predictions will not come true, that his daughter will indeed live happily ever after, and that he, who knows so much disappointment, will for once be blessed?
So they get married, and it's not a match made in heaven. He's very distant, and he's married her specifically because he figures that she'll be the wife and bear the children, and he can go on with his life as he had planned. They have a daughter. She'll be the only child, and this is the daughter Yas. And this next page is very soon after she's been born, and the mother is terribly disappointed. Bahar is very disappointed that her first child is a girl, because she had thought that she has a son, that his family would accept her more, and she would have a higher sort of status altogether, and she turns out to be a girl.
She will tell me this time and again, how she cried on the day I was born, and for so many days afterwards while she was in the hospital. How she fell into despair every time the nurses brought me to her, and how she tried to imagine what lay ahead for us both. Late at night, when the other patients were asleep and the visitors had left the hospital, she will tell me she would walk the halls and wonder how she was going to overcome this new reality. And then she would cry again later when she came home from the hospital and realized that Omid has not changed at all, that having a child had not brought him any closer to his wife or made him any more interested in his home life, that I, who should have lured my father back to his family, had failed from the start. That she has even fewer options now that she was responsible for my well-being, was disadvantaged for having given birth to a girl. I made a mistake, she will say in a matter-of-fact voice she uses when speaking of things that hurt her most. It's the way her own mother had spoken to her daughters. Life is hard. It's harder for women. Toughen up and get used to reality. It was the best her mother could do for her, Bahar will tell me, to rid her of any and all illusions about what lay on the road a woman must travel. But I think it was a punishment as well, that their mothers punished the girls for being girls by planting in their heart the seed of fear and disappointment, taking away their hope, condemning them to the same fate she herself had suffered. I'm 4, 8, 10 years old, my mother's only child, the source of all her heartbreak.
The father, as a child is growing up, as Yas is growing up, and she starts to lose her hearing, and after a while it becomes obvious to her parents as well. And they're going sort of from doctor to doctor trying to figure out what the cause of it is and how to stop it, the hearing loss. In the meantime, Omid has been conducting a very public, passionate affair with a very beautiful Muslim woman that sort of lives above the usual rules of society because she's so pretty and from an aristocratic background. And he tries to leave the mother once and doesn't succeed. And so at some point he comes back and he decides that he's going to try to make a go of the marriage.
Omid tells Bahar he wants to start over. He looks spent, devastated as he says this. But he confesses that he has failed Bahar and me, promises he will do whatever possible to turn himself into a real husband and father. Bahar cries tears of sorrow and relief, tears of that bitter joy that belongs to those who had given up too much on the road to victory. They have rented a house on the Caspian shore in a village nestled between the sea and the acres of rice fields. We pack for the trip at night because we're going to leave early in the morning. At 4:30, Omid comes to my room and wakes me. In the kitchen, Bahar pours tea into slender glasses and tells me to drink fast. We must leave soon to get to the seashore by sunrise. We drive across narrow mountain roads, above valleys so deep the end is invisible, through long, narrow tunnels made of stone, beside a lush jungle where white tigers live. We stop once to buy a bucket of blackberries from a peasant boy who's picked them only minutes earlier. His bare feet, neck is scratched, his hands bleeding from thorns and branches he had to clear to get to the berries. At sunrise, we come across rice fields where the water, still as glass, shines like yellow gold. Then we reach the Caspian. It was the sea, I thought even then, that brought my parents together. It's as if Bahar had always known this, that they would have to travel away from their life in order to find happiness. That's why she told him about the Caspian that day when they spoke for the first time. She had told him about a happiness she hadn't expected but knew existed. It was all a matter of faith, the opera singer would have said, and I thought that summer when my parents and I became a family for the first time, that he would have been right. Omid and I swim in the sea every day on the beach outside the rented house. At midday, we retreat into a straw hut that has been erected on stilts dug in the sand. Little boys younger than me sell trays of steaming rice and boiled meats that their mothers have cooked. Old men with rotting boats and crooked oars bring us fish that they have caught. They gut each fish with one slice of a knife, pour it inside the sand, cook it over fire they've made an empty 10-gallon oil can.